This is the Dynamic Spider-Man Plus. This is the beginning of issue 4. Very cool. This is a note here. We got some reviews. Tom Rapka from T3 Comics gave us a good review for some of my 4/6 work. But we begin here. This is obviously the earliest incarnation of the Doc Ock character. You know, you can see the giant, some sort of mechanical backpack he has. He's got the tentacles going here. You know, an action sequence, a really great shot here. And I love the in character shot here. I love that too. What a crazy angle of Spidey. So yeah, we're heating up. This is book number 4. And I think we're going to probably leave this uncut and give you the full action sequence. I'll probably, you know, I don't want to keep splitting up great long action sequences, but that's what this book basically begins with. Let's dive in. Spoiler alert, if you haven't been following the series, you probably want to read the comic first, see the link in Webtoons, and then, yeah, you can come and read the book. But I do cover the whole book, so there's going to be spoilers galore in case you're reading along. I suggest, again, check out the comic. This is just me recapping for those that want more, and a little bit of background information. This is actually a real image that was processed after post-work. So we have this, you know, the 40 million inhabitants of Mega City 3 enjoy the protection of the Mega Authority. The near police state is responsible for defense and enforcement of the strict class structure. So we're getting into the little engine behind the walls that have been dividing the people and don't let them really have a lot of communication. So there's several mega cities, but they do not communicate with each other. So it's very hard to find out what's going on in the other mega cities. And the truth of your existence is basically what you're told by those that control the walls. So in this particular case, the industrial militarium is also, you know, where you can imagine Vyktoria Vasser has ties to. The industrial complex is also has a big stake in controlling information and controlling what people can do and not do. So this, I'll take a cut here and we'll jump way back. We cut back to this moment while Maelstrom went to go see the evil Vyktoria Vasser, who's some sort of fake media liaison for this company when she's actually some sort of evil CEO honcho type character. But she has a lot more power than anyone understands. But this is the part where they talk about what happened to Doc Ock. The last time we saw Octavius, you know, his lab was destroyed. There was the synthetic body of his daughter in the coma. Everything got destroyed, and he seemingly stole some technology. We don't know what he stole or took with him, but he loaded up a vehicle and got out of there. So they had put the story in place that he died in the attack and announced like, oh, he's one of the people that died in the attack. Now they find out that, hey, you know, we kind of know where he might go. What happens if he starts talking to the press or announces that he's still alive, or he leaks information of what he's been up to? Like, what are we going to do? So she says, you know what? We already said that he perished. What do? We make sure the story is true now. Now we're going to make sure the story is true. Let's find him where he is and flush him, and that will be the end of it, and we'll keep the cover story that he died in the accident. And don't forget, they made a fake story, too, for Ben's passing, where they basically said he went out like a hero, saving lives and this fire, and he did these heroic things and had a heart attack. That's not true. So that's their cover story. They made one for Octavius also. So let's jump back ahead to where we are. So they're sending a team to take him out. And that's the team here. So there's this futuristic sort of Huey. This looks good in 3D, by the way. If you put on the 3D, that's nice. So we get a flashback that says 14 years ago, a woman made a terrible mistake. She did not listen to a man that knew better. So there's some sort of woman in peril, fire, explosion, something going on. And it says 14 years later, that man realized he made a terrible mistake. He did not listen to a girl that knew better. So that's an interesting return of what this means. But this is it. So I was also wrong about my time frame. This is only days ago. I thought it was weeks later. It's only days later. So I actually thought a lot of time had passed, but I was wrong. Reading it myself, I realized that jumping ahead, we didn't jump ahead weeks. It's just been days. So this is days ago. He used to work for the corporation, and then there was an accident. And now here he is, bandaged up, surviving in this makeshift laboratory space that he's retreated to. That Maelstrom knows there's probably some history between the two of them that he kind of knows where this is. Like, this might be relevant. I'm not saying it as a hint. I'm just saying outside of the comic I'm showing you, this could be a relatively place that both of them are aware of, that he went to get his thoughts together, to get his mind together. But he finds out he's been running this same experience, this same experiment and process over and over again and getting the same results. And he hasn't even realized that he's been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And he realizes, like, maybe I've gone insane that I keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. Like, I'm losing track of time, and he's just really not sure what's going on with his mental stability. And then he basically tells the computer to go do it again. Okay, do it again. And then he realizes, like, yo, I'm just, no. Wow. So he looks up and he sees on the monitor, which is a real actual picture, that this helicopter's coming in. And it says an attack unit, and he wonders now, were they after me all along? Like, was this attack trying to get me? Like was I the real target? Not the building, not my daughter, not anything. Was it really me they're after? And he realizes, like, they're coming to get me. And now he starts another routine going. Enable cybernetic link and begin charging the T3 device. So the computer says Titan's tendril terror device engaged. That's probably the T3, the T, and the T. So, Attack Zero is the name of the helicopter, has arrived. Engagement theater, outer skirt sector 12. Okay, outer skirt is probably the outskirts of the city, beyond that last wall. And they're out in basic, I guess, the wasteland. And they're going to basically try to eliminate our Doc Ock early in the game. They have a singular energy signature, so they figure out that's pretty much where he must be. There's an energy surge. Let's go check it out. And they're going with hard target, meaning there might be some resistance. The helicopter lands. And it's hidden. So the top part is this, is this shanty, this shack, but down the steps is actually a full underground bunker, probably connecting some parts over here or something. This looks like an abandoned area, but this, there's obviously a set. And they head in. Tentacle comes down, takes out the first soldier. This is great in 3D too. This looks good. Takes out the first soldier. There goes Anders. Watch it over here. A second guy gets grabbed. Blood smear, handprint on the wall. That's not a good sign. And then the heart monitor on the helicopter that's monitoring them shows a fatality. Someone's heart stopped beating. And it says, advanced team, we have 2 down. Stay alert. That means they got 2 soldiers down. So they're monitoring their vitals, and they see 2 men down. Okay. And he says something with cables in here with us. Guards off. Light up anything that moves. They realize the situation is now serious, whatever they're engaged with. These are great shots, too, by the way. This was great with the lighting and the little helmet lights and everything. I love this part. So here's a little noise, a little clack. Something is moving behind this column. Jackson flank. And he tries to go around, and the entire column, whatever this metal thing is, collapses on him. Ouch. And then standing on top of it is Doc Ock. And he says, the loss of a child is soul crushing. I need to share that pain with you. Now, that's obviously a reference to his daughter that used to be in a coma he was trying to bring back. His daughter was in a coma. He was, trying to regenerate her brain and bring her back because he's working on a program that can bring someone back from paralysis or awaken someone from a coma. That's what he was working on. And they recognize it as him, and they say, open him up, like light him up. But he says, but to lose a child twice is something else entirely. And he means losing her the first time when she went into the coma, and then losing her the second time is when they destroyed his laboratory. And he says, I'm done losing. You should have listened to me and not opened that door. I'm not sure what he's talking about or what he's referencing but this will probably come up later. What is he talking about? This is a great shot, too, in 3D. This looks really good because you can see the tentacles are like on one area, and he's really behind the tentacles. This shot looks really awesome. And then you get to notice, Titan unit fully charged, MPM, Master Protection Mode engaged. That means well, you don't need to really know this, but MPM means it's protecting him. So it's a mode that it can go into automatically to automatically protect the main unit, which is him. So this is automatically set to protect him. And then he says to it, stand by, T3, I'm not in danger. The last infiltrator poses no threat. And he tells, the machine, whatever this T3 thing is, goes, hey, stand by. Do not show up to help me. Do not assist me. This last guy is nobody. So the soldier that took off running gets into the base, and he's basically saying, like, hey, I'm back up to the top floor, and it's really an above ground, control room. He's on the main top level now, so just come scoop me up. So they're locked onto his biopulse, meaning that they know where he is. They tell him he's the sole survivor, meaning everyone else must be gone. But he says, hey, Sinful wants you to gather intel before extraction. So before we can pick you up, you got to get some information about what's going on at this base. They want to know what's going on. But don't worry, there's no other signals in the area, and if they are, we'll tell you. So you got some time to go through the computer system. Not happy about it. But he's just looking around the room. He's like active computers, data servers, a routing center. Oh, hold on, I got some pings. And it's like investigate the stream forward, meaning forward unit, go investigate. And he says, okay, some kind of process just finished. What the hell is a Titan Tendril Terror? Well, we know from the previous page that's the T3. And then, boom, very good question. And here he comes in the room dragging the body of the other soldier, the one that was back there. You can see him in the background being dragged in. But he says the Sinful Corporation will find out soon enough. But you choose now the last thing you will do. Like he's done. He said it. I'm done losing. And he says to this last soldier, choose the last thing you're going to do. And he basically does. He says, cancel the evac, meaning don't worry about coming to get me. And he has some sort of flashbang type device. That's what it looks like. But he says, for my men. And he turns it. And uh-oh, this is actually more than a flashbang. And he says 0.92 kgs of compound N. I know when they use the word compound and an initial, it usually means an explosive. So, compound N is probably some serious explosion type material that he's got. And it says flasher detonation. Last heartbeat went flat. So that's because they're monitoring his heart rate, and it went out. Recovery not possible. All weapons hot. Locked and engaging. Go for it. They're going for it. Time to let off what they've got. And then he says new target. Massive reading. A huge energy. Look at him there. There's our Doc Ock. And something pops out, and he says, Kraken, awaken, arise. And this is probably this T3 thing. Whatever this thing is, pops out. It's got tentacles. What kind of creature has tentacles like this? Giant circular thing in the section with one enormous eye on it. It basically is some kind of like Kraken. Hail Mary protocol. They're done. Bright light. Look at the power that it emits. An incredible energy wave that it puts forth. He says, for my wife and child. And now we're expanding some information here. There's a lot more going on than we realize with him. And he says, for my wife and child. Mimicking his actions and movements. He's connected. But look at this. Has the palm facing one way, turns the palm the other way. It lets off. I love moments like this in comics. You see him there. They're doing their best. You got the explosion of whatever that base was that the guy blew up. And he's out in front, shielded. He had the energy shield inside when they were shooting at him. And he just looks up. Look at that. Thinks about it. And raises his hand, and it busts out the ceiling. Wow. And then lets off a beam. First comes the light part of it before he intensifies it. First comes just the light energy. blinding. And then it turns into the beam. Then it turns into the beam. And somehow there's a flashback of a woman in this moment, and the beam fires and lets off energy. And there goes the mission that they sent to go get rid of him. I think that's enough for this update. You'll get to see the first page of our next upload. This will continue next week. Obviously, Peter Parker has a lot to think about. And we've just seen the emergence of the Doc Ock. He's got the backpack and the tentacles. He's not playing. They tried to get rid of him, and it didn't work out. But now he knows that Sinful's after him. They've just made a very powerful enemy. Can't wait to see where this goes. You're reading the Dynamic Spider-Man Plus. This was a demo that I did for Marvel Entertainment. So now it's just being shared for free on different webtoon sites. We are starting book 4 of an 8-book series. Let me know your thoughts and ideas. Comment. Don't forget to subscribe and like and everything else that you do with stuff that you're into. Let me know what's going on. And that's it. I will see you guys next week.